You know, I wanted to record a cool intro of me pouring my beer into my ghost pint glass, and that went south. Oh well. I guess I'll just, God, it's all foam. Okay. Serious start to this video. Hey guys, what's up? It's Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews. I'm here with a review of an Estonian dark fantasy romance horror film from 2018. Well, it was released in Estonia 2017, but it was released in the US 2018, so I'm going to go ahead and count it as this year. Released in 2018. I'm talking about November. Now, before I really get into talking about this film or what it's about or anything, I'd like to start by saying I watched this movie a couple of days ago, and I really found it very interesting, and I didn't know whether I wanted to review on it, and after sitting on it for a couple of days and really letting the film kind of stew up, my thoughts on it really churn up, I have decided to just fucking review the damn thing. So, this is an Estonian, shot in black and white, dark fantasy horror film set in a 19th century village in Estonia. And in this village, they use kind of like magic and folk remedies to combat like the plague and keeping warm in the winter and being too old to, you know, actually reap the harvest you've sown in your fields, etc., etc., etc. And on the reverse side of it, you have it's essentially just about this kind of small town in 19th century Estonia. And on the reverse side of it, you have a love story about a young woman who lives in this village, as well as a young man who lives in this village. The young man is infatuated with a noblewoman who lives in a big mansion, and she's German, and she is just kind of, she completely ignores him, doesn't care, and he's kind of obsessed with her. And the female protagonist of the film, she lives in the village, she has a very simple life, and she's also kind of obsessed with the male main protagonist, who, yeah, it's kind of a love triangle kind of thing going on. So, yeah, because I watched this a couple of days ago, my thoughts on it are going to be very, very jumbled, and just, this is going to be one of those reviews where I'm going to probably ramble on a bit, so bear with me here. This is a beautifully shot film, shot in black and white in Estonia. The shots of the countryside and the forest and everything are beautiful. The film visually is goddamn near perfect, honestly. It is every frame a painting kind of perfect. That being said, I think from a writing and acting point of view, it's a very well acted film, and I think that the actors all do pretty good jobs portraying their characters, and the two main protagonists, who are kind of, you know, back and forth infatuated with one another, are definitely likable, and you want them to eventually work these things out. And then there are the townspeople who are just kind of ignorant and, you know, they just kind of live their normal lives. This movie is weird as hell, and it's like a fever dream. And I say that with all confidence. It's like if you took the folk horror elements of, like, The Witch and combined them with the kind of absurdist of the nightmare tone of Eraserhead with some of the absurdist humor elements of that very film, and mashed them together is what you kind of get with this movie. It's well written, it's very well acted, the characters are likable. I think the movie is genuinely funny at times, and also very, you know, it's also very good at building an atmosphere and being creepy at times. From a technical standpoint, it's very well made. The sound design is very good. I really like the music in the movie. Again, visually, it's goddamn near perfect. As far as effects go, if there were any visual effects, like digital CGI effects, I could not tell them apart from the rest of the film. As far as I know, a lot of the effects for specifically these European folklore creatures called krats. These things, I'm pretty sure they were legit puppeteering. They were like legit works of puppeteering and costuming and stuff like that. And I really hope they were, because they looked very good in the film, and they were one of the elements of the film that I found very interesting. This movie also manages to get in some like actual old Eastern European folklore into it as well, for good measure. It's one of those movies that as soon as I was like 5 minutes in and I finished the opening scene and the credits started to show up, I knew instantly this was going to be a movie I really enjoyed. Because I don't want to spoil how the opening scene for anybody, but it opens like with one of the establishing shots is of the mansion that the noblewoman lives in, and then you see something come into frame, and as soon as that specific thing came into frame, I was just kind of floored and absolutely fucking shook. It's a dark fever dream, dark fairy tale kind of fantasy horror film that I haven't seen in quite a while. I will say I saw a very good fantasy romance horror film from last year, which was, The Shape of Water. But this is on a different kind of level. It's definitely a folk horror film. I really got nothing else to say. There wasn't much in the ways of blood and gore, but this film was not completely inoffensive when it comes to sexual and violent content. Honestly, this is a movie I could only really recommend to people who are into weird fantasy, like dark fantasy films, and for people who like movies like Eraserhead and The Witch. I think those are like the two best comparisons I can make to this film. If you like movies like The Witch or Eraserhead, this is something I think you might get a kick out of and might enjoy. This movie runs for about 2 hours, and once it was over, I looked at the time and I realized 2 hours had passed, and I was like, what the fuck just happened what the fuck just happened? Where'd my time go? Where'd these 2 hours disappear to? It's a film that really just flies by you, and you're just like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? On the gore meter from 1 to 10, 1 being something like Nosferatu, 10 being something like Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, I would have to say that November sits at like a, probably a 2, maybe? I would say about a 2. There are a couple of violent scenes, but nothing too violent. And I would actually almost argue this isn't really much of a horror film. But at the same time, it has this consistently creepy tone. Also, there's a werewolf in the movie. So, as if this movie involving deals with the devil and mythical fucking Eastern European creatures, this also has a werewolf in it. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I genuinely adored this film from beginning to end, and that's one of the reasons I really wanted to talk about it, was because I really did love this film. I would honestly say this is probably my second or third favorite movie so far this year. Definitely second or third among the best horror films I've seen this year. It is really amazing, and Estonia actually picked this as their submission for the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film, and I'm kind of sad that this didn't at least get, nominated, because this movie is very, very good and interesting. Again, if you're into this kind of shit. If you're not, then this is going to be an awful movie, and you're not going to enjoy it. But either way, I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 5. And with that, that is the end of another review. I'm sorry if this one went on too long. I'm sorry if this one went on too short, or if I didn't give enough details. Either way, this is Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews, signing off. Peace.